And welcome to the Tyranid speed painting tutorial. The important thing when you're painting a horde is to have a technique that's repeatable, quick, and supports doing batch painting, because you're going to have loads of models to do. As you're going through the models doing part of the technique, by the time you get to the end, the first model's dry and you can carry on with the next part. I'm going to use a gene stealer as my example. And the technique essentially is in two main areas. One bit of the technique is for all the body parts underneath, and then the next bit is the carapace on the back. This is a technique you can use for most Tyranids, especially all the small gribbly ones where you need loads of them. And the ability to choose a different carapace colour or carapace design is how you can put your own flavour into the army. For the first stage of this speed painting, I'm going to concentrate on the body. Remember, this can be done in batch, so once you finish this model, move on to the next, and on to the next, and so on. And I'm going to use Seraphim Sepia just to paint up all the body parts, the arms, and so on. I'm going to avoid painting the carapace, the knives and the claws on the hands, and so on. Then after that's done, I'm going to dry brush the same area with Screaming Skull. And with the guy looking like this, we're going to do some dry brushing. I'm going to be light and careful with this. And what that'll do is it'll catch and highlight all the edges, so like the fingers, the joints and so on. That was quite neat. Oh, by the way, don't forget to drop a like on the video as it really helps the channel. The next step is to add some detail to these little exposed bits here of tendon or gore, and I'm going to use a Volupus pink. You can also use Caribou crimson. Most of the arms and the legs have got these little areas underneath around the mouth. So I've also done the joints as well and the side of his mouth. And finally I'll do the tongue. And with the tongue you can also catch the teeth a little, which gives the mouth a bit of a gory feel. The next stage is to paint the carapace. Now I'm doing High Fleet Kraken, so this is going to be based in corn red first. I'm also going to do the talons and these blades. The carapace and claws are base coated, and because this is a speed painting process, you don't need to do two thin coats on here, and that's mainly because of the next step, which is Agrex Earthshade. So we're going to put a nice wash across the carapace, on the claws, and then a bit on the top of his head there. And I don't want too much pooling of the Agrex Earthshade in the carapace. I'm trying to dirty it down, but I don't want lots and lots of it. At this point, other than basing it like the rest of your army, you could say this is tabletop ready. However, I am going to take it a slight extra step, which is some edge highlighting. And for that, I'm going to use Evil Sun's Scarlet, and I'm going to do some edge highlighting on the side of the talons and the fingers. But then I'm going to dry brush very lightly across the carapace there just to catch some of those ridges, which makes it a little bit easier. And so after that little bit of dry brushing, also on the front of the forehead, you can see there's a little bit of colour there. You can do as much or as little as this is possible. And that's the end of the tutorial. Hope you found it useful. Hope you can paint up a whole horde really quickly. Thanks again, and see you again soon. Bye.